Well, let us take a look at what is happening in the markets, and we start off with the JSE that saw weakness throughout the trading session today, but ending up relatively flat with a slight gain of 0.10%. Of course, some of the news that the JSE had to digest came from China, as it did have a second round of interest rate cuts today. We also did have inflation figures coming out on the local front. We did have producer inflation unchanged from May in June to 4.6%, but actually on a monthly basis we did see a decrease by 0.3% compared to 0.1% growth in May. Of course, as I mentioned, the all share with a slight gain, that largely coming from the financial 15, climbing more than 1.5%, industrial 25 ticking up by more than 0.25%, but backing that trend, really under pressure there, is the resources 10 complex that has nosedived more than 2.5%. Let's take a look at what is happening stateside. And yesterday, of course, we did see the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ having their worst session since 2022, of course, yesterday, but seeing them coming on with a rebound in today's session. Of course, we did have investors chewing on the second quarter GDP print that surprised to the upside, growing by 2.8% for the second quarter. The S&P 500 up almost 0.5%. The NASDAQ with a gain of more than 0.1%, and the Dow climbing almost 0.8%. Let's take a look at what is happening in Europe, and on that front, markets digesting some of the company news that did come out. We did see Unilever missing on sales growth expectations, but seeming that investors were encouraged by the guidance in terms of margin growth. On the other side of the spectrum, we did see Gucci owner Kering coming out and missing estimates. Of course, the tone that we have seen throughout the luxury sector. Quite a mixed picture on that front. The FTSE 100 up by almost 0.4%. The CAC 40 coming in with the bulk of the losses that we are seeing there, declining more than 1%, and the DAX down by almost 0.4%. Let's take a look at what is happening on the currency scene, and we start off with how the rand is doing against some of the major currencies. A little bit of weakness against the US dollar, standing at 18 rand 34 against that currency, against the pound at 23 rand 63, and against the euro at 19 rand 91.